Did you know that belly fat is not a belly problem, but rather a metabolic issue? So in order to release belly fat, we must first solve the right problems. And no, I am not going to tell you to eat more protein and fiber. I know we're all tired of these types of advice. Instead, me and my fitness colleague, Erin Osborne, are going to give you a full blueprint today of what to do and what to stop doing if you are a woman in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. In this video, we will break down the most important strategies when it comes to diet, exercise, your environment, as well as hormones. And as you listen to this and you feel like you want to uncover how to personalize each of the recommendations to your specific needs, click the link below this video and apply for a complimentary DNA consultation, and I'll tell you why in just a few moments. When it comes to diet, the most significant change you can make is to improve your ability to regulate blood sugar naturally. No other strategy is more important when it comes to belly fat. Both Erin and myself use functional DNA testing in our practices. I use it to guide my clients' recommendations when it comes to food, supplements, and lifestyle changes. Erin uses your DNA results to customize your fitness plan to your body's specific needs, including cardio, resistance training, as well as injury prevention. When it comes to blood sugar regulation, your genetics determine how sensitive you are to sugars and starches. In other words, how big of a reaction does your body produce when you consume carbohydrates, which then helps us customize what your ideal plate looks like. If you haven't tested your DNA yet, here is the one thing you can do right away that will really move the needle for you. And that is to avoid liquid calories and make a liquid calorie swap, which means replacing things such as sodas, regular and diet, sweet specialty drinks such as frappuccinos, to stop adding sugar to coffees and teas, and also replace all fruit-based smoothies and juices, even if homemade. We replace them with things such as filtered water, and if you don't have problems with bloating, carbonated water is also fine. And I love to use herbal teas, hot or cold. Herbal teas come in so many varieties these days. My two favorites are ginger tea as well as cinnamon tea, which has a natural sweetness that also helps to curb cravings. And even if you don't change anything else about your diet right now, just make sure to swap your liquid calories. Let's chew them instead, never drink them. This one change alone will dramatically improve natural blood sugar regulation. When it comes to fitness, I asked Erin to share the top 3 mistakes she sees women making when trying to release belly fat. So I will pass it to Erin.
There are 3 mistakes that come into play when we are talking about belly fat. And those 3 come from the general appearance. So when we're talking about belly fat, usually we're talking about this lower abdominal portion or that pooch portion of our abdominals. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make is not engaging their abdominals and not engaging their core. So the thought about doing that is bracing. We don't want to brace. Bracing contributes to an internal pressure. So what we want to do is really engage those abdominals instead of just sucking them in. So to do that, what you really want to think about is these lower abdominal muscles. We want to think about pulling them in. So we're not sucking our tummy in. We are taking these low abdominals and we're drawing them in. So think about your belly button to the top of your pubic bone. We want to draw that musculature in towards us. So if you noticed, I drew those muscles in and I can still have a conversation with you. If we're sucking in, it's really difficult to have that conversation because we're holding our breath.
This is one of the most important things Erin has taught me. This shift from seeking to have toned abs to actually focusing on a strong core. And when we make this our goal, we learn to properly activate our core muscles, we start investing in stability and injury prevention, which are so important as we age. Which brings us to mistake number 2.
The second thing that happens is poor posture. So the lower abdominals, when you don't have that engagement happening and we're sitting in this poor posture, of course those low abdominals, that pooch is going to look really big. So when we have that poor posture from standing, tucking that pelvis under, those shoulders moving forward, it doesn't look very nice. And those lower abdominals really protrude, they really stick out. So what we want to work on is tilting that pelvis backwards, creating length in our torso, rolling those shoulders back and down. You always want to think that your ear should be over top of your shoulders, your shoulder over top of your hips, and your hip over top of your ankle. Everybody's knees are different, so we don't pull those into the equation. However, we should always try and keep them in somewhat of an alignment. So again, with those abs, we don't want to be sitting forward in this poor posture. We want to tilt that pelvis. We want to contract those lower abs. We want to create space in that torso, roll those shoulders back and down, and have that head in a neutral space. That creates nice, tall posture that eliminates the look of having that lower abdominal belly fat.
This one I experienced firsthand. I wish I had photos of the before and after to show you the changes in my posture, and I attribute a lot of my own progress to what Erin just shared. Now, the third mistake may surprise you. Here it is.
And then the third thing is overtraining. So if we don't know what our genetics are and we continue to train really hard for prolonged periods of time and for multiple days out of the week, that can cause great inflammation in our bodies. And a lot of times that inflammation goes to our abdominals, goes to that lower belly, and it can create what looks like lower abdominal belly fat when it's just inflammation. So if we put ourselves on a proper plan, a proper exercise plan according to our genetics, then we're definitely going to be able to create something that doesn't trigger any inflammation in your body and isn't going to contribute to any extra abdominal fat.
By the way, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, okay, I want to explore functional DNA testing, click the link below to apply for your complimentary DNA consultation, where we will go over your needs and your goals together. This one test alone covers all areas we're discussing in this video, from food to fitness to inflammation to your stress response, detox, and so much more. The link to apply can be found below this video. And speaking of inflammation, Erin mentioned how overtraining would not lead to belly fat reduction or weight loss, and it will in fact rise cortisol, the stress hormone, and lead to higher inflammation. So by testing your DNA, I am able to actually uncover all the different places where inflammation may be coming from. This was the case of my client Stephanie, and she recently shared that 4 years ago, I didn't feel like myself. Chronic pain from severe inflammation, constant digestive issues, unexplained weight gain, poor sleep, and high anxiety had taken over my life. My health was affecting everything, my energy, my confidence, and I felt stuck without real answers. Working with Juliana through DNA testing has been truly life-changing. The improvements I've experienced since implementing her recommendations has been astounding. Now, here is something really important that very few people know about. When it comes to genetics, sleep, stress, and inflammation play a huge role on each other, meaning that by activating our stress response, we increase how much inflammation we produce. And the overtraining that Erin shared in mistake number 3 is a perfect example of this. Or by skipping on sleep, we're actually putting a lot more stress in our bodies, kind of like a vicious cycle. So all of the areas that we're discussing build on each other, and the more we implement, the more our results will compound. But if you want to really see results, the one area that you cannot overlook is your stress response. And cortisol is the primary hormone causing a lot of the havoc that we experience during our menopausal transition years, even when other hormones get blamed. So, until you address this, we will continue to move in circles. Yes, relaxation and meditation are often recommended, but the truth is, from all the women that both Erin and I have worked with over the years, we know that we need to go deeper. And the goal is not just to produce less cortisol. And I realize that some of us cannot drastically change our lifestyles overnight. So to make real progress, what we want to do is to read the feedback loop that is your stress response. And in the process, prevent the system from overreacting, physiologically speaking, to the stressors in front of us and or past or future worries. And your DNA holds incredible answers about your stress feedback loop and how we can support the body in a way that an all-inclusive vacation could never do. So if you're ready to be mind blown by the answers we can uncover with this one saliva test, click below to apply for your free DNA consultation and let us show you step by step how to use your own DNA to create a customized weight release plan so you can release belly fat the right way. And make sure to watch this video next if you want to go deeper on the mind game that is weight release.